Hey guys, I just want to talk to you a little bit about elbows and put some content out there. In the combatives realm, a lot of people get hung up on certain strikes. You know, they get hung up on the groin kick, or they get hung up on hammer fist, or they get hung up on elbows. And there's not really a lot of variance with what they're throwing, but the elbow, of course, is one of the most versatile tools that you've got. So I just kind of wanted to quickly go through the different kind of elbows that we teach, both in combatives and in MMA and in combat sports and Muay Thai. Because they're adaptive, you can use them in different situations, right? Based on the ergonomics, based on range, based on everything that's going on. So yeah, the first one is the slashing elbow, right? And the slashing elbow is the biggest mistake we see, and that is people try to make it a forearm shiver like in football, right? So guys will push like this, and they'll come straight across like this. So if you imagine someone's head right here, if I make that arc coming across just like this, there's only one point where it's furthest towards my attacker, right? So if he literally does this, I might clip him or miss him altogether, okay? But if I use the technique properly and I relax my arm, I take my thumb, I put it on my sternum, my hand is completely loose, it's not a clenched fist, and I just step with the opposite side foot and slash down. When I do that, even if a guy backs up away from me, it's still going to impact his brachial plexus, his sternum, or whatever. So if you think about it, if I'm here and I left step, right elbow, right, and I step in and I hit down, so you can see I'm taking my thumb and I'm literally like driving it right into my sternum. The elbow tip is up, and the elbow cuts down and through the target. As opposed to being horizontal with the ground, it's coming down at an angle, 45-degree angle, 35-degree angle, who the fuck knows, but it's coming down on an angle like that. Now, if I engage the other hand and half clench, obviously the guy can't step away and his head won't move away. So I can make the impact even greater by creating that car collision we always talk about in the combatives 1, 2, and 3, and also in all the teaching we do, right? You want to create as much head-on collision as possible. So that's the down and dirty on the slashing elbow. Next elbow that we'll do is the spearing elbow. And again, people fuck this up because what they'll do is they think that the power of the spearing elbow comes from lifting the elbow as if it was an up elbow. It's not. You're attacking with your body. The only thing is, the elbow tip is what the weapon is. So by using 170 pounds to step forward and drive my elbow through off a guy's punch or whatever, that's what's doing the work. It's not, this isn't doing the work, okay? And you want to make sure that the elbow is, your upper arm is horizontal to the ground. So in other words, I don't want to do it and have it do this, because if he did wrap his arms around me, he'd collapse that arm and now it's useless, okay? At a minimum, what I want to do is I want to put a bony structure between me and him that he can't collapse. So even if he did get his arms around me and pulled as hard as he could, as long as I keep this set where it is, it won't collapse. It gives me some space to work. So basically what you're going to do is take your hand and put it in the back of your head, just like you would in a Muay Thai block, right? Brush your hair. So all I'm doing is protecting the back of my neck. If I do this, my chin is tucked and my elbow is straight forward. And then with a step, that's what's impacting him. Okay, now when would you use this? You don't do what I see a lot of combatives people do that are less than fully qualified and shouldn't be teaching, which is run at someone with this. You would never see me do this. All right, that's just stupid, and it looks stupid, and it's ineffective. It's a collaborative movement when the guy attacks you. So let's say he throws like a big overhand right or a haymaker. He comes in and he does this. Okay, well, I would leverage guard the incoming arm, right? So I'll go hard 90 to hard 90, leverage guard that, okay, impact his bicep or the inside of his elbow crook. And then what I'm doing is dropping a level and driving that elbow tip straight forward. So all I'm doing is putting my arm up like this so that the punch can fully manifest and hit me. Maybe wrap a little bit of his deltoid and then step. So I'm going to the punch to choke it. So in other words, I don't want it to be fully manifested, right? I want to choke it back here. So as he throws that punch, all I'm doing is this, okay? So him coming at me and me going at him and protecting myself at the same time is what I came up with is the spearing elbow. And that fucking thing's been copied a million times by people, and they all teach it wrong, or many people teach it wrong. Okay, that's what the intent is, what I just showed you. All right, now take that a step further, we go to the up elbow. So the up elbow is an uppercut, right? And the up elbow is great off, we use it in MMA off breaks when the referee's not involved. When you want to break, you can like throw it and get out. You do it with a slashing elbow also. But the up elbow is really hard to see. Comes out of nowhere. It starts below the line of vision. And all I'm really doing, when you think about it, is making a full, complete blocking motion with my arm. So again, all I'm doing is this. Now in this technique, yes, it is the rotation of the elbow going up that I want to impact underneath his lower jaw. Somewhere under here, I want to knock his head up like that, okay? And I can either clip it and move it up and then hit him with a slashing elbow from the other side, which would be just like the uppercut hook combination, right? It'd be boom, boom like this, which would be a great for knockout. Or I can use that as a strike to actually crush him, right? Use it as a finishing technique if it's available. So again, on that one, all I'm doing is I'm coming through. I am using the rotation of my arm, but past horizontal. So where the spearing elbow would stop right here, the up elbow is going to come through that range of motion and come up. So I'm going even deeper. I'm going like to the back of my neck, okay? And I'm still protected, right? That's still a block. This is a good block. But the back of my neck is protected, the back of my head is protected. Okay, so that's the up elbow. Next one I'll talk about, and then I'll end for this piece of content, is the tomahawk elbow. And a tomahawk elbow, you know, I don't know where the name came from. I mean, I guess I suppose, I don't know how many Thais know about American tomahawks, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it comes from that motion when you think about like a tomahawk, right? The elbow position starts with a high elbow, right? So it comes up almost like I'm taking this block and then bringing my elbow out, right? See that? So I've got my block or my spearing elbow, and then I'm gonna lift my elbow in order to get the tomahawk. And that motion, what you're trying to impact is cheekbone, crown of the head, collarbone, side of the jaw, side of the neck, vagus nerve, brachial plexus, any of that shit. Okay, it's a really, really nasty strike. You are a little bit at risk, obviously, and I wouldn't suggest doing this off go, because in order to get the position, you've got to open up right here. So if you're a right-handed fighter and you're fighting another right-handed fighter, or a guy that on the street, if he's right-handed, when you do this, you're obviously open, you know, to hooks and other things. So, but there are a lot of moments, both on the ground when you're on top of someone and ground and pound, or when you're standing, when this technique will work like a champ. It's really hard to see, and it's very hard to defend against, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm using twist, I'm using shoulder twist, I'm using elbow twist, and I'm also using arm direction to affect the strike, right? So I'm putting together not only my hip and my shoulder coming across to drive the elbow in, but I am also using my arm itself. So you put all three of those things together, hip, shoulder, and arm movement, it's pretty fucking nasty, okay? So what you're doing is you're coming down and in. Do one at you so you can see it. So you can see what I'm doing, right? I'm coming down like this. Imagine getting hit in the collarbone like that. Imagine someone, like if you were on the ground or standing up and I knock you stupid and then come in like that. Okay, now the surface area that you're striking is a little bit different than using the strike is a little bit different than it is with a slashing elbow or the other elbows, because in those elbows we're going to use the forward part of the elbow, right? So we're going from the elbow tip a little bit up the forearm to about here. In this strike, you're actually going to be hitting from the elbow tip back on your tricep. That's what's actually doing the work, right, where you're impacting. Okay, so there you go. That's a little diatribe on elbows. www.Kembativz, Kembativz.com. Go to our YouTube channel. Look us up on Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you soon.